Starting us off at number 10 is Zadkiel, a real archangel of freedom and mercy, but the one we're talking about today is part of the Marvel universe. Back in the earlier comics, Zadkiel used to be God's personal warrior that was extremely good at killing anything and everything. In terms of power, he possesses superhuman strength, speed, durability, he can heal quickly, he's immortal, he can fly, he can capture astral bodies, and he can manipulate you with magic. He could not give less of a shit about humanity, and during Lucifer's rebellion in heaven, he and his black host sided with the dark side. Zadkiel then snaked Lucifer, so this guy's evil truly runs deep. Like, how does man's snake Lucifer? I don't get it. As punishment for betraying God, Zadkiel was put in command of heaven's Black Ops team, and after doing a bunch of work, he was done with it and launched his own attack against heaven. He started recruiting humans, so after they died, their souls would automatically join his army. Zadkiel thought he could do a better job at ruling than God, and he actually won heaven and ruled for a while. So this dude is not to be messed with under any circumstances. Coming in at number 9 is Gabriel. In the 2010 action horror Legion, the archangel Michael goes to Earth and ends up being the angel trying to save the human race. A waitress called Charlie is pregnant with a baby who's going to save humanity, except God doesn't want humanity to be saved. So he sends an army of angels to Earth to end the human race, and the angel in charge of the army is Gabriel. He goes on a killing spree and kills Michael, who later comes back to Earth and says that Gabriel did what God wanted, but that he himself did what God needed, and therefore Gabriel failed. I mean, God did send him down there to kill an unborn baby, surely he should have known something was wrong there. Either way, the TV show Dominion is set 25 years after the events of the movie, and in it Gabriel is still hell-bent on killing mankind. He even managed to convince all the lower angels to fight with him. So an immensely powerful archangel hell-bent on killing us all sounds a lot worse than Succubus, for example. You know? At number 8 we have Samyaza. In the Book of Enoch, this fallen angel is known as the leader of a band of other fallen angels called the Watchers. This group became possessed with their lust for human women and continued to consummate despite it being a sin. Samyaza created 2 half-human, half-giant sons and continued to corrupt his fellow angels into seducing women. His encouragement led to the offspring of these women being giants, and together with the angels they murdered, dominated, and exploited inferior races of men. And I mean, when you have angels and giants in one army, you know you're gonna lose. You may as well just give up. Surrender, it's over for you. Filling our number 7 slot are the Angels of the 10th Realm. Part of the Thor Marvel universe, these angels live in a place called Heaven, not actually spelled heaven, previously known as the unknown 10th Realm. This realm was locked away by Odin because these angels were a right menace. They're vindictive and they're pro-killing babies. Loki actually helps Thor open up a portal to heaven so they can meet the angels. However, a battle ensues where Thor loses and Loki sides with the angels. In all the 10 realms, angels are their greatest warriors, to the point no army is a match for them. They're extremely selfish and materialistic, and think a concept like honor is just plain useless. Now at number 6 is Gabriel. What a surprise! Gabriel, why'd you have such a bad rap? Jeez, come on now. Anyway, in the 2005 occult detective film Constantine, half-breed angel Gabriel is a bit of a problem. Gabriel absolutely hates humanity with every fiber of its being and hatches a plan to unleash Satan's offspring, Mammon, onto Earth so humans can die so they can go to heaven. So I mean, it sounds like a good deed, but it most certainly is not. To claim the Earth for himself, Mammon needs help from God and a powerful psychic on his side, both of which he has, and he has the help of Gabriel, the selfish hoe. Gabriel literally tries to stab a possessed woman's belly to get Mammon out of there, and Satan eventually incinerates her wings off. You know it's bad when Satan is involved in doing the punishing. You know it's bad. Coming in at number 5 is Amenadiel. I like him personally just because he's from the DC universe and I prefer DC over Marvel. And I know everyone's just gonna be bashing their keyboards right now trying to tell me how Marvel is so much better and intricate. Believe me, I work with Chain Amanda, they're both Marvel over DC diehards. Either way, Amenadiel is a vengeful angel that spends his life getting back at Lucifer, who is now on Earth. After leaving his post as King of Hell, Lucifer went to Earth and started running a piano lounge, which did not set well with Amenadiel, who never forgave him for betraying him and God. However, Lucifer's a genius and Amenadiel's definitely, you know, more brawn than he has brains. Any move against Lucifer is thwarted quite easily, which makes Amenadiel angrier and stupider. He literally invades LA with the Throne Army and kills a bunch of people all for his ego. Come on man, do better. At number 4 are the angels from Supernatural. I honestly did not think that show could last as long as it did, but I mean kudos to them. 15 seasons, azam zaddy. Now the series follows two brothers who essentially hunt ghosts, demons, monsters, you name it, they hunt it. Supernatural also has a lot of angels in it, the good of which being few and far between. There's probably only like 2 angels that are relatively good on the show, Castiel and Gabriel, and even they are not saints. Gabriel literally forced Sam to watch Dean die 100 times in a pocket universe, and he's in the top tier of nice in the show. That's not nice. Most of the angels on the show have no issue killing humans. The first half of the show actually features most of the angels wanting Satan to escape from hell just so the apocalypse can happen, and that's not even because they want it, it's literally because they're bored. Other antics include Angel Zachariah removing Sam's lungs for a few minutes just to prove a point, Metatron killing a bunch of humans, and also turning angels into suicide bombers. Like, hello, calm down. Filling at number 3 slot is Gabriel. There are so many asshole versions of Gabriel, I feel bad for it. Either way, this terrible Gabriel hails from the 1995 American fantasy movie titled The Prophecy. Now to summarize, there's this sort of angel civil war going on, and Gabriel wants to overthrow the regime and be in charge. As angels, you'd think they'd all be able to sort out their differences around some heavenly circular table, I don't know. In order to win the battle, Gabriel is looking for the dark soul of Colonel Hawthorne, a Korean war veteran that committed horrible war crimes that don't even seem to affect his morality at all. Hawthorne's soul will help him overthrow the obedient angels. To put it into perspective of how bad this is, even Lucifer doesn't want Gabriel to win because he knows he'll turn heaven into a second hell. You know shit is bad when Lucifer seems like the good guy. The reason Gabriel is even doing all this is because he feels bad and guilty for betraying God. His soul is being tortured, and this is the only way he can see out of it. I mean, has he tried therapy? Are some problems beyond therapy? I don't know. Now at number 2 is Zara. Now Zara is an angel in the Spawn comic book universe that is so powerful and feared that angels and demons alike don't want to get in her way. Zara is a creation that God abandoned and now keeps imprisoned due to her immense unpredictable power. She's one of the most powerful beings in the universe, but she is utterly insane. How can that much power not go to anybody's head? Come on, you're setting her up for failure. Now Zara's unending bloodlust is what makes her simultaneously a homicidal maniac and God's most lethal weapon. He lets her out when he needs someone killed or someone to do his dirty work, and since she's immortal, nothing's that deep for her. The bloodlust within her is actually so strong it manifests in this large white bestial humanoid that can breathe white celestial fire and follow Zara's every command. So not only is she dangerous herself, she also has this ethereal beast that kills people for her. And finally, at number 1 is the unnamed angel. In the 2001 psychological horror film Frailty, Dad Meeks, the father of Fenton and Adam, gets visited by an angel who tells him that God wants him to kill demons that are disguising themselves as humans. Meeks is already a religious fanatic, and this angelic visit throws him into overdrive as he waits for the angel to give him the name so he can start killing the people one by one. He takes his 2 kids with him on these murder missions and touches the victim right before killing them because it shows him the visions of what crimes that demon has committed. Now Adam believes his dad, but Fenton doesn't, so he tries stopping him, which fails. This angel tells the dad some horrible things about Fenton that leads him to locking him up in the cellar, hoping that will make him see God. After days of being starved, he lies and says he's ready to be part of the murders, and so upon securing the next victim, the dad gives him the axe, but Fenton kills his dad instead. Then, on instruction from the angel, Adam kills the victim and then buries them both. The movie gets darker after that with a lot of twists, but this one angel literally caused a serial killer to be born.
Number 10, Metatron. I don't think there's a character hated more than Metatron in the supernatural world. Metatron was the scribe in the original scripture. Metatron is an angelic being mentioned in the Babylonian Talmud, Kirkasani, and in the books of Enoch, that he is the highest angel and scribe to God. When Sam and Dean in the show encountered him in the series, he appeared like a harmless angel. He agreed to help them translate the angel tablet that they attained. By the way, I'm not finished watching Supernatural because I'm a loser and I don't have time, so I'm spoiling this for myself for all of you. Love you. Anyways, Metatron had ulterior motives and cast all the angels out of heaven using the tablet. He killed the one, the only, sweet baby-faced Dean, so yeah. We hate him. Interestingly enough though, one biblical study source claims that Metatron is simply a myth and that he wasn't actually real. But like, okay, sure. Anyways, let's move on. Number 9, Zachariah. There's a lot about him in the Bible, but the one we are talking about today is the one, again, from Supernatural. The show at times made it pretty hard to side with any of the angels, especially Zachariah. Not only was he a bully, but he might as well have been a demon. This guy wanted all hell to break loose. He was one of the top guys, the head honchos, had been alive for 6 millennia, was supposed to protect humanity, but chose to not fight against Lilith because he wanted the end of the world to happen. He wanted millions and billions of innocent people to die in order to cleanse the earth. Doesn't that sound like a dictator I'm not allowed to mention on YouTube? Just saying. Number 8, Uriel. The Archangel Uriel is probably one of those people that if he showed up would not mean good news for anyone. Which is kind of funny because you thought that like if an angel showed up it was like a good thing. Apparently in the book of Enoch this guy was pissed that a bunch of angels, the Watchers, we'll talk about them later, were taking up some human lovers, therefore creating giant hybrid offspring. Uriel desired to rid the world of them, so he convinced God to let him take care of it. So he's the one that flooded the world. Yeah, he flooded it. Noah's Ark? Yeah, that was him. The women were apparently transformed into sirens. If that's not enough to know that this guy doesn't mean good news, he's also the main messenger of the apocalypse. Yay! So if he shows up, run! Run away! If you can, probably can't. He'll outchase you with his wings. Anyways. Number 7, cherubims. Wipe the adorably cute baby idea you have in your head. Cherubims in reality were actually terrifying. Once I'm done explaining how they are actually described in the Bible, you are going to be just as confused as I am. Cherubim were absolutely terrifying to behold. Like, they sound like they were demons. They had 4 faces, one of an ox, a lion, a man, and an eagle, and had 4 wings, and they moved on some kind of wheel within a wheel device that was like covered in eyes. Oh, and apparently they looked like they were also on fire. I don't know. The image we have of cherubims today, the cute chubby baby ones, were a copycat of the Greek and Roman depiction of Cupid. But yeah, I guess who would want a picture of the 4-headed monstrosity on their wall or in a church in stained glass? No one is the answer. Number 6, the Watchers. According to Daniel 4:13, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream after which he remarked, quote, "I saw in the visions of my head while on my bed that there was a Watcher, a holy one, coming down from heaven," unquote. The Watchers were a group of angels who, well, they watched. They did that pretty well. They served as the eyes of God and reportedly got into some mischief that you'd assume demons would be good at. Like, I didn't even know angels were lustful at all. You know the destruction Uriel caused above? Well, the Watchers may have been the reason why. The Watchers apparently got so hot and bothered looking at us hot earth women, who could blame them, that they were like, we gotta get some of that. Their human relations caused some strange after effects though. Their offspring were bloodthirsty giants over 1,000 feet tall and they just kept having them. Like, I really hope they started out like really small because making anyone give birth to that is a crime in itself. Anyways, Uriel drowned them along with all the other innocent people of the world, so I don't know who's worse in that scenario. Number 5, Gabriel. Sorry guys. The Bible makes it pretty clear that it's probably a good idea to fear archangels because, well, they are anything but the sweet and pure images you saw at your childhood church. More like warriors that go out to punish. I know, I thought Satan did that job, but apparently not. We got punishment from both ends. Great. Gabriel at one time was given the task of announcing to Zachariah the birth of John the Baptist, but Zachariah didn't want to believe him and put a stink up about it, so Gabriel, obviously having a short fuse and a very inflated sense of self, was like, quote, "I am Gabriel, I stand in the presence of God, and I have been sent to speak to you and bring you this good news. But now, because you did not believe my words, you will become mute, unable to speak, until the days these things occur," unquote. I don't know what he was talking about, but the dude literally pulled an Ursula on the poor guy just because he didn't believe him right away. I would say that's not very angelic, but he is an archangel, so. Number 4, the weeping angels. Okay, I know. Hey, aliens, angels, look, there are plenty of moments in the Bible that potentially depict the two were one and the same, and we're gonna do a video about it, hint hint. Please spare me one nerdy moment where I make a Doctor Who reference. Just one, okay? Just one time. I'm still talking about angels, so it counts. They could be in the Bible, I don't know. Don't Blink, anyways. Don't Blink is one of my absolute favorite episodes of Doctor Who, as it introduced one of the most terrifying creatures in the universe, the Weeping Angels. The Weeping Angels disguise themselves as statues you'd see in graveyards or gardens, always seen weeping over a loved one with their hands over their eyes. But blink, turn away for just a second, and you'll wish you never had. The angels feed off of residual energies, and they are creatures from another world and are known as the Lonely Assassins. They are quantum locked and therefore can't hurt you when they're being observed, but turn away and you're dead. They send you back in time. The day you left becomes the day that you die. Number 3, Jophiel. Based on the whole Eve and the apple thing, I'm honestly not sure what God had planned for us if he didn't want human beings to have knowledge. Like, were we just gonna be in his own like perfect Sims world that he built walls around and then like laugh as we just keep running into the same corners? Like, was that what was gonna happen? Like, you know? But God did not want us eating the apple. Yet we did. But it was the angel Jophiel who threw us out of the Garden of Eden to let us fend for ourselves. He had a massive sword made of fire, and when Eve ate the apple, they were the first to ever face the wrath of his supernatural power. All because they eventually wanted to have some agency and maybe understand how things work. Sorry about it. Number 2, Lucifer. I know, Lucifer's the devil. He's not an angel anymore. Well, technically he still is. He just fell a few feet. Get it? Fallen angel. Okay, whatever. Lucifer being, I don't know, king of hell, could easily scare any demon he came across. Lucifer was cast out of heaven for defying God's orders, even though at one time he was depicted as God's most perfect angel. He was so beautiful he could barely be looked upon. But he became corrupted by pride and took up arms against God when he no longer wanted to serve him. He, along with the rest of his fallen angels, now rule hell and punish all those condemned to damnation. Yeah, sounds like a guy you don't want to mess with. Sounds like the wrong kind of angel. And last but not least, Samael. Ever lose a loved one in an awful way, or just in general? Of course, everyone has. According to Christian and Jewish lore, Samael is the angel that brought death to the world. He is also known as the accuser, the seducer, and the destroyer, and is commonly associated with the Grim Reaper. Samael apparently went down to kill baby Jacob while he was still in the womb before Michael stopped him, which is a pretty awful thing to do. His angelic job is to test humanity and attempt to seduce humanity towards sin. Like, that's what his job is. Some say he is synonymous with the devil himself, while others say he is just an angel who functions under God. If humanity fails Big G's judgment, they send good old Samael. Sounds like a pretty scary angel to encounter even if they aren't a demon.
Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have Furfur. Furfur is a fallen angel turned demon who is the 34th of the 72 spirits of Solomon. He is the Earl of Hell and has 26 legions of demons who listen to his every command. If one is summoning him, they must do so within the magician's triangle, or else he will not speak, and if he does, none of it will be truthful. He appears as a deer with a fiery tail, unless in the triangle, where he will appear as an angel, but he speaks with a rough and hoarse voice. Furfur has the ability to raise thunder, lightning, and powerful winds, and he also apparently causes love between a man and a woman, which doesn't seem all that bad, but everything I've read about him references it in a negative way. When he is trapped within the triangle, he will tell secrets of divine things.
Coming in at number 9, we have Seraphim. Seraphims are flying serpents. Need I say more? Seraphims appear in the book of Isaiah, and their name means burning ones or flying serpents. So not only are they flying snakes, but they are fiery flying snakes. And they don't just got one set of wings. No, because why would they? They actually have 6 wings sprouting from their back. 2 are said to be covering their face. Why? Well, when they are mentioned, they are flying by God on his throne and telling him how great and holy and glorious he is. They cover their eyes because they feel unworthy to look at God. Then they have 2 wings to cover their feet. Yeah, that's right, I forgot to mention that these snaky things have feet. They just keep getting weirder and weirder. Anyways, they hide their feet so God doesn't see anything imperfect about them. And then they have 2 wings that are actually used for flying. But still, they sound horrifying.
In our number 8 spot today, we have Raphael. Raphael is one of the true archangels and is the 4th oldest of the 5. He is a powerful healer, a guardian angel, and a great fighter, so you might be wondering why he landed a spot on today's list. Well, there's just one story in particular that I really wanted to talk about, and that story comes from the Book of Enoch. In this story, Raphael is in a battle with a demon, Azazel. Raphael is able to defeat the demon but decides to subject him to a fate worse than death. The story writes, "Bind Azazel hand and foot and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Dune Dale, and cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face so that he may not see light, and on the day of the great judgment he shall be cast into the fire." If that wasn't clear enough, Raphael tied this demon up, buried him alive in a hole full of rocks in the middle of the desert where he just now gets to wait until he can be thrown into a fire and burned alive. Like, what? I gotta say, that's very dark.
Coming in at number 7, we have Lucifer. He definitely deserves a spot on today's list. And before you go off being like, why is he on here? He's not an angel. Wrong. He was one. He's a fallen one. This is based on the book of Isaiah in the Bible. In it says, and I quote, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" So it said that Lucifer was once an angel, but then got banished to the depths of hell after he staged an uprising against God. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious as to why he's terrifying and on today's list. I mean, he rules hell and has an army of sinners and demons at his disposal. He then sends them to earth to terrorize humans and tempt them into committing sin. In fact, in the Bible, it's also believed that Lucifer, or Satan, was the snake that tempted Adam and Eve. He has a number of different forms he can change into. But of course, modern times have him depicted as a red-horned beast with a pitchfork.
In our number 6 spot today, we have Abizthabu. This fallen angel is described in the Testament of Solomon and is said to be one of the angels that followed Beelzebub upon his fall from heaven. He is the sin of pride and is known for his ability to lead people astray. He is most easily summoned in the month of July during the 5th hour of the night. After his fall from grace, he was left with only one red wing and was condemned to hell. He is said to have control over the imprisoned souls of Tartarus and plays a primary role in the demon world. He himself claims that he was once an angel in what is referred to as the first heaven, and after his fall he began to roam Egypt. During his time in Egypt, he met with Moses and the Israelites during the Exodus and opposed them. This is when he decided to harden the Pharaoh and his advisors' hearts and convince them to pursue those who were fleeing. He then went with the Egyptian army in pursuit of the Israelites, but the collapsing Red Sea crushed and drowned him, which left him imprisoned in a pillar of water. Despite being trapped, Beelzebub says that he will return for conquest.
We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the cherubs. Now, you might be wondering, Lindsay, why are these on the list? Aren't they just plump naked kids with little bows and arrows? They're cute. No, sorry, but the Bible has them depicted a little differently. In fact, they are terrifying looking. They are described as, and I quote, "Their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight. Their feet were like those of a calf. Each had the face of a human being. And on the right side, each had the face of a lion. And on the left, the face of an ox. Each also had the face of an eagle." Yeah, you heard me correctly. They had 4 faces. A human one of a lion, a face of an ox, and then a face of an eagle. I'm sorry, but that just makes me uncomfortable. There's too many faces going on. But wait, that's not all. Each head had its own set of wings, and they appear to be on fire. So they're just a weird human-animal hybrid thing that's on fire. Can't forget the fire part. But wait, it gets worse. In Ezekiel 10:8, it claims that their backs, hands, wings, and their whole body were covered in eyes. That concerns me. Why do they need that many eyes? Imagine summoning that thing. Like, its appearance alone would just scare the crap out of you. No thank you.
In our number 4 spot today we have Asbiel. Asbiel had to be included on this list today if for any reason because his name literally means God forsaken or God deserter. Asbiel is the angel of ruin and one of the fallen angels from the Grigori. After leaving the angelic post and straying from the angelic duties, Asbiel dedicated his life to leading humanity astray. Asbiel completely abandoned God and his grace and wishes nothing from him. Asbiel believes that God is basically just another common celestial who has hoarded all of the power at the expense of the rest of creation. During and after his fall, Asbiel questioned why God wouldn't just completely remove any evil and malice in the hearts of his creations, and this led to him believing that God was a tyrant who only cared about worship and praise.
Coming in at number 3 we have Samael. First off, Samael's name literally means the venom of God, the poison of God, or blindness of God. Pretty intense for an angel, right? Well, he's not just any angel. No, he's an archangel of death. He killed people under God's orders. So basically, when God tells him to go kill someone, he will show up and confront them with his sword drawn. The tip of the sword contains a drop of poison, so when he jabs the person, it will not only cause a nasty wound, but will contaminate their blood with poison and they will die a slow, painful death. Now, in Hebrew lore, he is the prince of demons and is the executioner of death sentences handed out by God. He is also called the seducer. Why? Well, he is known to seduce people into acts of evil. He seduces them so that they will sin, and then God's like, oh, we got another one, go kill them. Like, that's really dark.
In our number 2 spot today we have Azrael. Azrael appears in many religions in our world and is often referenced as being the angel of death. His job is to watch over those who are dying and separate the soul from the body, and he receives the spirit of the dead. Rather than being death personified, he is more thought of as being a servant to the will of God. He is, however, referred to as the embodiment of evil. Not that he himself is evil, but just the embodiment of it. He is said to have 4 faces and 4,000 wings, and his whole body is covered in eyes and tongues, which directly correlates to how many people there are on Earth. Like, imagine being visited by an angel that looks like that, and then knowing that seeing him probably means you're about to die. Just not a good situation in general. It is said that Azrael will be the last to die, and he is constantly recording and erasing the names of men at birth and death. I thought my job sometimes got a little dark, but I'll take this one over that one any day.
And in our number 1 spot today we have the Watchers. First off, why would they give angels such an intense name like the Watchers? Like, it sounds creepy already. Anyways, basically the Watchers came down to Earth to watch over the humans. But while down here they got distracted and fell in love with women. They ended up procreating among them, but this was a disaster. Their offspring were these savage giants who pillaged the earth and put humanity at risk. Like, literally they started killing and eating people. Not only that, it's said that the Watchers were the ones that taught humans about weapons and violence. So yeah, these angels had one job and managed to screw it all up.